be taking a look at the restauravia Bréguet XIV version 1.0. This aircraft, I believe, was a port over from Flight Simulator X. What you get when you download this aircraft is two variants, which I will show a picture of the other one, which being a courier version. Basically what it has is two cargo pods under each wing, and you get this one. The Bréguet has Mark 14 has two seats. It was a French recon / bomber aircraft during World War One. It was able to carry up to 300 kilograms of ordnance, and was one of the early steel-tubed aircraft, which you can see some of that from the exterior, which is really nice actually. Let's get into the review part. First, looking at the outside, I'll take a look at some of the texturing. It's okay. It's on par with other Flight Simulator export overs. Something I do like with the texturing is you have the one huge center line exhaust here that would go up and over the wing, and they did the really wonderful, a really decent job with the exhaust on the wing. And texturing, it's nothing to really write home about, but better than some pay warplanes. Another thing to look at on the exterior is with the pilots. If you look, restauravia has made custom models for their pilots, and they've mapped them to certain commands. So if I do my rudder, the rear pilot will turn his head. If I do my ailerons, the front one will also turn his head. Not as much. It's not as noticeable, but he will. So when you're in flight, crossing controls, and making your adjustments, they'll be looking like they're scanning the skies. And one last thing to point out on this exterior, it has a tail skid, like many aircraft from World War One. One of the things I think is interesting with this tail skid, because I know there's a handful of aircraft that have like a steerable skid. This one does not appear to be steerable, but it still acts as if it's a tail wheel. I don't know what the deal with that is. Okay, let's move on to the cockpit first. Looking at the cockpit and the camera placement in the cockpit, restauravia has put you sort of between the front cockpit and the back cockpit. I've noticed this problem with a handful of the aircraft, but there's a really simple solution. I have my arrow keys bound to some of my camera movements. Just move the camera forward a little bit, like so, and you should be in the cockpit at that point. Second thing, there is no checklist to help you with starting in the engine or any procedures. And all of your instrumentation is in French, which is some of the stuff I can sort of decipher. I can tell that's an altimeter. It's some sort of temperature. I really don't know what these two temperature gauges are for. They seem to be indicating the same thing. My guess is oil temperature or cooling jacket, maybe. I have no idea. This is an airspeed indicator. You have a clock, which you can adjust. And you have your RPM. Over here, I'm going to guess as a starter. This is like the only one of, or like only thing here that does not actually have an English tooltip. You have this thing too, but I have a feeling. I believe this is the interior lighting. You got a battery. And this thing does have an electrical system, magneto. And this is your fuel mixture. Here's your throttle, which forward on the throttle is 0%, and or is closed, and it's open. The stick moves. Again, texturing outside the instrument panel is kind of on the lower end, but this is a port over, so not bad. Rudder bar turns. Another interesting thing about this aircraft is it does seem to have brakes. I don't see anywhere for brakes, and I don't really know if it's supposed to have brakes. And lastly, I have not had a successful start outside of Control E, so we're going to try that now, see if I can't get one. So, power, slightly cracked, we got fuel mixture there, mag's on, everything's good. And now listen to this. Contact. Get a guy who shouts contact when you hit the starter. Yeah, no. So you're going to have to start with Control E. Contact. Contact. Come on. There we go. Something I do like about this is the engine sounds like an early engine. It sounds real throaty. We'll go to it. Now, I believe there's only one mag, so I'm not going to turn that off. Do a mag run up, but we will start a taxi here. Now, something to note: if you want to do any VAT sim, don't in this aircraft, because I don't think you can. It doesn't have a radio or transponder. And another thing to note is forward visibility sucks. But if you are relatively new to, or if you have some experience with tail draggers or some of these older aircraft, that's fairly normal for them. And a little normal technique to use is this S-taxi I am showing. This is a bit of a narrower taxiway. Just clearing the runways here. You know, fun little fact about tail skids. Most airports in the United States that are paved early on banned the use of a tail skid because they not only had a habit of being torn up by the pavement, they also damaged the pavement as well. We're going to want to turn right here. It's going to be a fairly sharp right. But when you operate from a grass strip like this, it's not as bad of a problem. Yeah, it's a little bit of a fast taxi. I'm kind of speeding this up a little bit for time. Ignore the break dancing cub. Ruining the immersion. Okay, so a little bit about this flight. I'm gonna power idle here. We're going to take off from here and fly around the town of Marion. We'll come over to the airport, do some stalls, maybe some turns, and do a little bit of maneuvering, and then come in for a landing. Full power. I've noticed this thing does use a little bit more left rudder than right rudder. I am using I don't have a rudder pedal. I'm using my, just my Z-axis on my stick, so. And we're off of the ground. There's the town of Marion, right? Marion? Yeah, Marion. This isn't an aircraft you expect to go fast and high altitude in. It's a laid back ride. It does seem kind of slow on the controls, although I am going in the lower airspeed. Something I have also noticed about it, elevator authority is kind of lacking in a dive. I had done rolls previously in this thing, and it did work out, but I did one earlier today, and it put me in the ground, and then I did try to loop again, and managed to pull through it by stalling at the top of it, and somehow managed to recover. Once this thing gets past, I'm going to assume that's kilometers an hour. About 200 mark on the airspeed indicator, it locks up. What a lovely little town. Exterior shots here. I'll put a link to the aircraft in the description. It's a nice little plane. Enjoyable. Yeah, I haven't gotten much opportunity to fly this one much, but when I get the chance, it's a nice little plane. I enjoy it. There's our airport. Hop back to the cockpit. See, there's an example of the Texas being a little meh, but again, it's free, not terrible. Okay, in the stall, it seems to really like to drop that wing. This is what I mean, the elevator authority. Am I going to be able to pull out of this? Oh boy. See, the elevator is really slow to respond. Left 360 here. Compass is actually kind of a cool little feature. Older style compass for the whiskey compass. I'm gonna see if I can't get this thing to pull negative or 0. No. No, that's not what I wanted to do. But if you do manage to roll the aircraft or pull 0G, I am full forward stick at the moment. Yeah, this thing has a fairly gnarly stall because of that elevator. My weight and balance. Not bad. This thing does hold a lot of fuel. I see why they use it as a courier aircraft. I'm gonna come in for a landing here. Then tuck the airplane away. Let's actually hit the runway here. There we go. That directional control. Now, I'm not using any braking here. And she'll roll. Right, with braking. stops fairly short. Get turned. We'll clear the runways. There for a second, I thought the plane was through the ground. See that little cutout there. Overall, decent little airplane. I think a few things that draw this thing back are definitely the omission of a checklist or a manual for us non-French speakers, and the engine not being able to start without Control E. Even though everything has functionality of some sort. I will show you actually the lighting in the cockpit. This is your cockpit light. I think it's originating from under the seat, which is an interesting source for it. But unlike all the other switches that are on-off, on is in the down position, and off is in the up position. So yeah, that and the textures being a port over, I would say I'd give this thing a 7 out of 10. Not the greatest thing I've flown, not the worst thing I've flown. And so, I think some of the major drawbacks, like some of the major flight model style drawbacks, are just the nature of this airplane, and it being an older type airplane. Yeah. Next time I see you guys, I will be reviewing the Asobo L39, and I will see you then.